Hey guys, how's it going? So HR 450, which is Repeal the NFA Act, has just been introduced by United States Congressman Eric Burleson of Missouri. Now this is awesome. This would literally repeal the NFA. Again, this is short, sweet, to the point, would fit on a postcard, and I'm going to read this for you in just 1 second. But I want to real quick talk about the video I put out about a week ago, which was Representative Gates repeal the ATF bill. And one of the most common comments I received was, whatever, this is just grandstanding. It won't pass. Who cares? Did you know that the Senate is controlled by Democrats? Yes, I do know that. Did you know that the former vice president is a Democrat and won't sign it? Yes, I know that too. But this does matter. And this bill is very encouraging, and this is something we all need to get behind because we're at a time for choosing right now. Literally, we're right at the pinnacle, and it could flow one way or the other, whether we want to remain the United States of America, which is a constitutional republic, where the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and where Congress makes law, or whether we want to be the United States bureaucracy, which is where it's been heading very, very quickly with agencies such as the ATF and many others. And I want to offer you guys some encouragement real quick, and I'm going to get into this act and why you should get behind it. When this country was first founded, Ben Franklin was asked by a woman, "Sir, do we have a republic or a monarchy?" And he said, "Well, we have a republic if you can keep it." And he meant that to her and her generation back then, and also meant that to you right now. Look, our rights have been deteriorating for about 100 years with this National Firearms Act infringing our natural right to keep and bear arms. And it's time that we have to step up right now. It's us right now that have to do something about this. Because if it starts going too far the other way, we ain't ever going to get it back. Now, this bill is awesome, and it actually has co-sponsors. Representative Andy Biggs, Matt Gaetz, Paul Gosar, Mary Miller, and Andy Ogles. I'm going to read a couple quotes from them and the bill, but I want to offer you some more encouragement at the expense of not being the first person to break this on YouTube, because I'm not really that worried about that. I just want you guys to pass this on and share this video with all of your friends, because we have to win this culture war and get more people involved. I took a few minutes to call my congressman, my United States Congressman, Representative Wahlberg, who represents me here in Michigan. And I talked to one of his aides, and she was very friendly, by the way, and we actually had about a 5-minute conversation, which is a long time to be talking to a congressional aide. And I said, look, it's just gone too far. They've been slowly whittling away, now faster and faster. This pistol brace thing, it's a big, big deal. And I need Representative Wahlberg in the House to step in and do something about that. She said, well, you'll be happy to know that he's very concerned about what the ATF's doing. And this is a very, very important issue. She told me there's a House resolution that's in development right now, and that she would email it to me when that's publicly available. There's also 2 more congressional acts right now that are getting written to try to rein in the ATF, the bureaucracy, even taking stabs at the National Firearms Act itself. And these are separate bills than this HR 450, which is just breaking within the last hour here. So here's what I'm trying to tell you. Look, Representative Gaetz, he's part of the Freedom Caucus, and that's where I would align with mostly. I don't really align with many people in Washington, D.C., but the Freedom Caucus, they're good ones, especially on the Second Amendment and other rights. Now, Representative Wahlberg, he's always been a staunch defender of the Second Amendment. He's been my congressman for several terms, and his voting record is awesome with 2A issues. But he's not part of the Freedom Caucus. He's considered more of a moderate Republican, but definitely a strong supporter of the 2A. The fact that his staff is aware of what's going on with pistol braces, the fact that they're concerned with this, the fact that he's now working with fellow congressmen on a House resolution, several other acts, this is a big, big deal. This means right now we have the momentum. We have the ear of Washington, D.C., and it's time for us to literally crank it up to 11. You guys better be calling your representatives right now, your senators, on the federal level as well as the state level. Because states can do a lot to try to get the boot of the federal government off of your necks. Depending what state you're in, it may be more effective or less effective, but you still have to do something. You know, the other side, when there's a tragic event that happens, they all get out, they all rally behind trying to destroy your natural right to keep and bear arms. Right now, we have their attention, and if you want to do something, you need to do it right now. And just sitting there saying, but it doesn't matter, whatever, that's not very good. That's not being very good to yourself. I'm here to remind you guys, you matter. And if we are going to have a government of the people, by the people, for the people, and have a government that runs at the consent of the governed, the sheer definition of that, and that's a beautiful thing, by the way, is for you to actually get involved. Talk to your friends. Talk to your neighbors. Share this article that I'm leaving in the description. Share this video if you think it would help motivate some of your friends and family. Call your representative and say, I support H.R. 450. We do need to repeal the National Firearms Act. One of the other concerns from the repeal of the ATF Act was they'll just shift the power over to the FBI and we could end up even worse. And that's somewhat of a valid point. No, this bill right here literally repeals the National Firearms Act. Gun control as we know it would be totally over. So here's what the bill says. It's short and sweet. I totally love it. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America, in Congress assembled, this act may be cited as the, quote, repeal the NFA Act. I just love the sound of that. Chapter 50, then it goes down to, this is the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes, right here. Section 2, repeal the National Firearms Act. Chapter 53 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, and the item relating to such chapter in the table of chapters for subtitle E is hereby repealed. Now notice what I just said there. The Internal Revenue Code of 86. Yeah, that was the Hughes Amendment that was put in place in 1986. That's the last modification of the National Firearms Act. It's referring to the table of chapters for subtitle E. That would get rid of all of it. But you guys are like, well, hold on a minute. Internal Revenue Code. Yeah, this is a tax. This is through the Internal Revenue Code, the National Firearms Act. This is a tax on a natural, God-given right. When Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, he said, these are the laws of nature and of nature's God. All men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. And among these, not limited to, but among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we've literally been living with a tax on a fundamental, natural, God-given right since 1934. And it's literally insane. This is what you need to remind your friends. Imagine if you wanted to call your mother. But before you could do that, you had to pay a $200 tax. You would say to yourself, and your friends would say to you, that's insane. They can't charge me $200 to exercise. I have the right to call a friend, call mom, call my congressman, which I just did a few minutes ago. Yeah, I know. And it would be insane to tax that. What if they said to go to the polling location to vote, you had to first pay a $200 tax? Well, that's obviously unconstitutional. And that's actually gone through the court system and been declared as such. There's been laws that have declared that unconstitutional. Well, when you look at the Bill of Rights, that doesn't grant us our rights. It literally says, shall not be infringed. Don't tread on me is what the Bill of Rights essentially says. This is the duty of the United States government to protect these unalienable rights. And they wrote down some of them, including a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is a core fundamental right. The Second Amendment is not a second-class right. And when you call your congressman, your senator, your state rep, your state senator, remind them of that. Say, I didn't have to pay a tax to call you. How dare you keep collecting a tax on my right to keep and bear arms? The right to keep and bear arms is a first-class right, and it needs to be honored and defended once and for all by the United States Congress. And if we're going to get them to do that, that's up to you, because you're actually the most important thing in this country if you still want to have a republic, a Republican form of government. I'm not talking about the Republican Party, but a constitutional republic. That means you actually have to do something. So this is very encouraging for me. I was encouraged and excited to call my congressman, and after talking for a few minutes, I'm even more encouraged, knowing that this does have the ear of the United States Congress right now. All right, guys, get involved and leave me some comments and let me know. Let me know who you're calling. Let me know what friends you're talking to. If you want, you can leave a comment saying, but I don't care, I'm too black-pilled, this won't pass, nothing matters anymore. Look, you can leave those comments to me, that's fine. I'm not going to be mad at you. But I'm hoping you guys can get encouraged by this video a little bit, and then offer some encouragement back to me and the rest of the community in the comment section, and share with your friends and family so they can get encouraged and get involved. Right now, we need to strike while the iron's hot on this whole issue. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.